Story Bugs!
Hello and welcome to Storytime. We are going to pick up where we left off in Disney's Bambi. This is adapted from the film by Joan Ryder, illustrated by David Pacheco and Jesse Clay, and published by Disney Press. Now we are on chapter 3 of Bambi, and I'll show you this picture before we start. Here we go. As spring turned into summer, Bambi learned how to do more and more things. He could now easily keep up with his mother on their daily walks. Together they explored the woods, and he learned to find places where there was food to eat and water to drink. As he discovered new things about the world, Bambi had new questions to ask. Early one morning, the curious fawn wondered, "Mother, what are we going to do today?" "I'm going to take you to the meadow," said his mother. "What's the meadow?" Bambi asked, running with her. "It's a very wonderful place," she told him. "Then why haven't we been there before?" he asked. "We weren't big enough," she said. Bambi's mother looked at her young fawn. He was getting stronger every day. His long legs were no longer wobbly, and he walked with confidence past the waterfall. "Mother, you know what?" he asked. "What?" said his mother. "Thumper told me we're not the only deer in the forest," Bambi said. "Well, he's right," she said. "There are many deer in the forest besides us." "Why don't I ever see them?" Bambi asked. "You will, sometime," his mother said. "On the meadow?" the curious fawn asked. "Perhaps," said his mother. "Hush now." His mother stopped and carefully looked all around. She turned her long ears this way and that and listened for any sign of danger. "We're almost there," she whispered to Bambi. At the edge of the woods, the clusters of tall trees ended. Ahead of Bambi was a wide, empty place, filled with sunlight and flowers. It looked beautiful, and Bambi could not wait to get there. "The meadow!" he cried, dashing ahead of his mother into the lovely fields. Without any trees or bushes to stop him, Bambi could run in any direction he wished. He could run as free through the meadow as a bird could fly in the open sky. "Bambi, wait!" called his mother. She leapt in front of him, blocking his way. "You must never rush out on the meadow," she said firmly. Bambi heard the fear in her voice, and he became frightened. "There might be danger," she explained. "Out there, we are unprotected." Bambi looked around at the emptiness of the meadow. He looked at the green, sloping fields and the bright sky above. "The meadow is wide and open, and there are no trees or bushes to hide us," his mother continued. "So we have to be very careful." This was a new lesson for Bambi, and he listened to his mother, ready to obey her. "Wait here," she said. "I'll go out first, and if the meadow's safe, I'll call you." Bambi tucked himself into the grass so no one could find him. He had learned well how to hide. As he watched, his mother stepped carefully onto the meadow, looking this way and that way. She moved slowly, stopping to listen for any noise that might reveal danger. It was hard for her to see clearly in the early morning mist, and as she moved away from Bambi, she seemed to fade in the mist too. But Bambi waited patiently and listened for her call. The doe's ears turned as she picked up the soft sound of birds chirping as they flew above her. A flock of small birds landed and disappeared in the grass ahead. Their calls told her they did not see any danger. The meadow was safe for now. "Come on, Bambi," she said. "It's all right." Bambi crept cautiously from his hiding place. Then he ran to his mother, who was waiting for him. They ran together through the grass, leaping in one direction and then another, whichever way they wished. It was delightful to run in the meadow. Bambi skipped through the grass that tickled his legs, and he leapt over the colorful flowers. Above him there were no trees to hide the bright blue sky and drifting clouds. Bambi discovered a tiny brook where ducklings were learning to swim. He leapt happily over the brook. Then he bounded into the shallow waters, splashing himself and the ducklings too. This was fun. Other animals from the woods were visiting the meadow that day too. Bambi discovered the rabbit family as they were eating their breakfast. "Good morning, Prince Bambi," the rabbits called. "Hello," said Bambi, watching them curiously. "What are you eating?" "Clover," the rabbit said. "It's awfully good." "It's delicious," mumbled Thumper, hidden under a big batch of green leaves and purple flowers. "Why don't you try some?" Bambi grabbed a big mouthful of leaves. "No, no," cried Thumper, "not that green stuff." Sitting among the purple flowers, Thumper leaned over, opened his mouth, and started to eat one of them. "Thumper!" scolded his mother. The little rabbit stopped eating the flower and looked at her. "Yes, Mamma," he said. "What did your father tell you?" she asked him. Thumper paused and asked, "About what, Mamma?" His father had a great deal to say about a great many different things. "What did your father say about eating the blossoms and leaving the greens?" his mother asked him. "Oh, that one," said Thumper. He recited from memory his father's lessons. "Eating greens is a special treat. It makes long ears and great big feet." Thumper patted his long ear and raised his big foot to show them as proof of his father's lesson. Then he whispered into Bambi's ear, "But it sure is awful stuff to eat." No one except Bambi heard him, and Thumper added proudly, "I made that last part up myself." Oh, we're at chapter 4. We'll save that for next time. Thank you guys for joining me for another reading, and I'll see you for the next chapter of Bambi. If you guys enjoyed reading that story, would you please click subscribe down below? We read new stories just like this one every day, and we would love to let you know when there's a new story to listen to.